And our two favorite radio guys tackle some brand new polls out on America's feelings about the immigration debate. This debate got so heated between these guys yesterday, we promised you we'd bring them back today. Round 2 upcoming.
They now lost 10,000 Mexican citizens last year. That's 3 times 9/11. When we had 9/11, we invade Afghanistan. We're lucky that he's not coming across the border in Arizona.
In this analogy, the United States is Al-Qaeda. And the fireworks were flying in the debate of Arizona's immigration law right here yesterday. But if you missed our favorite two radio guys going at it, do not worry. Round 2 is right after this break.
The poll numbers don't lie. Mark sees them. We all see them. 80%, 85%. Americans are rallying behind Arizona.
Why can't we focus on the criminal drug gangs instead of Jose, who's in the garden, who's trying to live the American dream?
Back now to our Fox News alert. We told you at the top of the hour how the Department of Immigration and Customs Enforcement is threatening to refuse to work with the state of Arizona now when it comes to deporting illegal immigrants who are picked up under that state's new law. The head of ICE, John Morton, saying he doesn't like Arizona's new immigration law and may not help the state deport illegals if those illegals are referred to him. The spokesperson for ICE today confirmed to us that indeed they are evaluating Arizona's law to, quote, determine the policy going forward. Joining me now for a fair and balanced debate and to pick up where we left off yesterday, radio talk show hosts Mike Gallagher and Mark Levine. Okay, so we promised we'd bring you back, and we did. Yesterday I started with you, Mike, so today I'll start with you, Mark. I find this really interesting that the head of ICE is now saying it's not a good law. He says it's not good government. That's what he says. And we may not necessarily process the illegals sent to us by Arizona. Is that okay with you?
Well, it shouldn't surprise you, Megan, that the head of ICE can't enforce a law that differs from federal law. We've talked about this before. Under the Constitution, Arizona cannot go it alone. To the extent that their law differs from federal law, that's against the Constitution. To the extent it's identical to federal law, it's unnecessary. So the law only has political consequences, and I think the head of ICE is saying, look, we can only do what federal law lets us do. If you don't like what we do, change federal law, support comprehensive immigration reform.
Before that's been decided by a court of law, Mike, before anybody has officially said that law is unenforceable, this guy Morton gets to say, I'm overruling you.
I think it's rotten, Megan, that you are deciding to play this prank on your millions of viewers by suggesting that the head of ICE is actually going to say he won't cooperate with a state that's trying to enforce the law. I think you owe everybody an apology, Megan, for playing a prank like this by reporting on this bit of insanity. This is how
Mike, doesn't John Morton take an oath to uphold the Constitution?
This is the, hey, Mark, this is the nutsiness that this has now reached, that the head of ICE is now threatening not to cooperate with the state of Arizona in enforcing a law that's already on the books. And by the way, Megan, as you pointed out last night here on Fox News, the existing federal immigration laws are much tougher than anything that Senate Bill 1070 even begins to suggest.
The cops have a lot less leeway under the federal law than they do under the Arizona law. That's just
Twilight Zone stuff.
Go ahead, Mark.
Follow those federal laws. He has no problem following those federal laws. What he's saying is Arizona can't do something that's not uniform. I thought you respected the Constitution,
but wait, let me just jump in here. Mark, let me ask you, Mark, who died and made Mr. Morton king? Because, you know, in this country we have a system of laws. If you have a challenge, you bring the challenge, then a judge gets to decide whether the law is constitutional or not. There's a whole system. Maybe Mr. Morton hasn't heard about it, but there's a whole system set up. It's called the judiciary.
Megan,
I'm sure you've heard about the fact that every
federal official,
Mark, and then Mike.
Every federal official, from the President of the United States on down to members of Congress, takes an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States. It's not something that only judges do. It's something that every member of the executive branch and legislative branch does. If the President of the United States believes this law is unconstitutional, and if Mr. Morton thinks it is too, they should enforce it. Need I remind you, George Bush did thousands of signing statements where he said laws were unconstitutional.
All right, go ahead, Mike.
This is this man's legitimate role.
When you keep waving the Constitution and pretend like you're a constitutional expert, do you ever study the concept of states' rights? Do you, for one moment, ever? Yeah, would you talk a little bit about the right that Arizona has to protect its citizens against the marauding criminals that are illegal immigrants from Mexico who are destroying? So let them have that right and let them exercise that right.
Their right is under Arizona law to go and get those criminals and put them in jail and put them on trial, and I hope they do. But Article 1, Section 8 says that you must have a uniform system of naturalization. In other words, Arizona can't make laws different from New Mexico, Utah, Vermont, or Maine. This is what the founders said. If you don't like the Constitution, Mike, amend it. But I'm a strict constructionist. I like the Constitution, and I respect the right of a state like Arizona. And incidentally, Mark, you can yell as loud as you want. You can filibuster as long as you want. You're in the tiny minority. Article 1, Section 8.
Poll shows that the vast majority of Americans are behind Arizona. And when we have to sit there and watch
the Constitution based on polls?
That's a point that if you saw the O'Reilly segment last night, then you saw he asked me about this, and I wouldn't and couldn't answer because I'm not a political expert, but you two are supposed to be. So let me ask you that, Mark. Why? Now, you know the polls. I know you disagree with the American people on this, but the polls do show that Americans overwhelmingly favor the Arizona law. Overwhelmingly, in every poll. I mean, it's not just, you pick the poll. That's what they say.
Not Latinos, Megan.
Well, but here's my question to you. So why is the administration taking this on as a political issue? Because you could argue this is political suicide for them.
Well, because, Megan, they respect the Constitution. Look, if you want to have a constitutional amendment, if you want to amend this and have Arizona have different immigration laws from New Mexico, then go support a constitutional amendment. Do it by the book. I believe in the rule of law. And, Mike, if you want to change the Constitution, go out there and amend the Constitution.
Mark,
but the president has to respect the Constitution, and obviously you don't.
You're trying to deceive the American people who are going to buy your malarkey about this being unconstitutional. I'll line up 90,000 constitutional experts who say Mark Levine is so wet you're drowning. And I'll tell you, Megan, excuse me, stop interrupting me, Mark.
Let Mike finish his point.
I am fascinated by the political stupidity, Megan, of the Democrats who are absolutely committing political suicide. I mean, honest to goodness, just from the sheer political ignorance of this, these guys are shooting themselves in the foot to try to advance an agenda that the American people don't want. It's bad policy, it's bad politics, and you know what? It's bad for the Democrat Party, so let them keep doing it.
Mark, because, that we talked about this a little while back about, Rush Limbaugh believes that if Democrats keep doing this, pushing through certain agenda things against the will of the American people, and he says it happened on health care and now is happening again on immigration, that they're going to pay the price at the polls in November. What do you think, Mark?
I think most Americans respect the Constitution. I would ask you to take a poll, Megan, that tells Americans this law is unconstitutional and see if they still support it. I think they understand the president has to obey his oath to the Constitution.
All right, but Mark, you seem to be assuming I get that you think it's unconstitutional. You recognize that not everyone agrees with that, and so
I don't. I have not found a single constitutional scholar who thinks this will be upheld in court.
Everybody agrees that it's unconstitutional. Is that what you're saying now?
Pretty much.
The whole world, right, Mark?
Could you find me a law professor? Have a debate with me and a law professor on this issue.
You're wrong. But listen, I got to get you comment on this, and then I got to go. Mark, I want to ask you, because what your argument sounds an awful lot like, the American people, once again, they're a bunch of dum-dums. And they just don't get it. If they could just understand, as I do, that it's unconstitutional, then those poll numbers would totally change.
Megan, if the American people want comprehensive immigration reform, something the Democratic Party strongly wants and President Obama strongly wants, they need to tell the Republicans to stop filibustering, because President Obama wants to move forward.
That's not responsive to my question.
Do it at the federal level.
That's not responsive to my question.
It is. It's the only way to legally do it. Let me. I respect the law, and I believe in following the law, and there's a process here. And the process is to obey the Constitution and do it at the federal level.
All right. I got to let that be the last.
You can ask the American people if they support the Bill of Rights, and they might say that they're against it, but I'm not going to be against it.
That's right. We're against the Bill of Rights. That's right, Mark. You're right.
In the 1950s, Americans were.
All right, guys. Court is back in recess. Always a pleasure, gentlemen.
All right, thanks, guys.
We're still taking your emails on those two guys. They're fired up. Kelly at foxnews.com.